Throw your luggage in the river and meet a mentally unstable man and his rental boat because we have an absolutely insane episode of The Changeling, which means all new theories and mysteries to solve. For those of you who are new to my videos, this is not a recap, but a deep dive into the biggest theories, mysteries, and clues the show has to offer. If you haven't checked out my episodes 1 to 3 video, be sure to do that. I'll leave a link to it in the description below. Keep in mind, I have not read the book the show is based on, so there will be no spoilers, just sleuthing. And as always, I encourage you to write your own theories in the comments below. Now follow me.
But before I do, be sure to like and subscribe.
Our first mystery this episode comes from young Lillian dragging a piece of red luggage, but what I'm really interested in is her face. It looks like she was dating Chris Brown. My mind immediately goes to her husband, or perhaps now ex-husband, Brian West, but we can't be 100% sure. Remember that it was Lillian who asked for a divorce shortly after the birth of Apollo, which may suggest Brian was abusive. However, Lillian never mentions his abuse, if there was any at all. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and think that Brian being an abuser is a red herring. It's also really strange that Apollo finds himself at the same location decades later. Is there something in that luggage that he is connected to, or perhaps is calling to him? Obviously, this luggage is quite important, since it's featured both at the beginning of the episode, the end, and in the intro credits. We just don't have enough information yet as to what's inside. For all I know, it could be Apollo's twin baby sister. In my episodes 1 to 3 video, I brought up that in ancient mythology, Apollo had a twin sister named Artemis. It's crazy, but let me know what you think. The writers here made a conscious decision to end the episode with older Lillian wearing the same exact outfit she wore when she dropped the luggage decades ago. It doesn't look like she's going into that water, but it's clear they want us to see the importance of this luggage, its location, and the connection between younger and older Lillian. Red was also an interesting choice for the luggage's color, it being the color of the strand given to Emma in South America. Last episode, we were introduced to William Wheeler, who attended Apollo's survivor group where he secretly filmed a woman with a connection to the Wise Ones. There's a lot going on with this guy, and it's tough to decipher if what he's saying is true or if he's manipulating Apollo. William wants to buy Apollo's signed copy of To Kill a Mockingbird, which he says is an attempt to win back his wife, Greta. We never meet Greta, so we can't be sure if William is just using this as a ploy to get closer to Apollo, a man he'll later say is key in making sure everyone on the island survives. At the beginning of the episode, Patrice shows Apollo a Brian Cogwa fan page with members posting absolutely vile posts about Apollo and Emma. Of note is this guy named Kindergarten, who comes up several times in the episode. Take a look at his avatar, this weird emblem thing here. If I'm not mistaken, it looks strikingly similar to the necklace that falls off William when he's beaten by Cal near the end of the episode. On their way to the island, William asks if Apollo told anyone where he's going, because someone on the fan page said, "Stay safe on them open waters." The only person Apollo told was Patrice, but I'm gonna take a guess that this is a fake account created by William to manipulate Apollo. The Kindergarten Friend More page, which is this world's equivalent of Facebook, includes some really interesting clues. The account says this person is from Norway and they were born July 5th, 1825, which is the same date the sailors from Norway that we saw in episode 1 sailed to America. And guess who says they grew up in Norway learning to sail on boats? It's William. His posts are mainly about eating people, especially babies, which aligns with what fairies do in the book To the Waters in the Wild. In my last video, I theorized that there could be some sort of war between fairies and witches. If this is the case, it could mean that William here is a fairy. It's kind of funny that William served in the Air Force and fairies can fly. And did any of you think it's super odd that after nearly getting beaten to death, he springs up almost like it didn't affect him and even makes a joke?
Well, at least I got my glasses back.
Like I'd barely be able to move after this. William also talks about an extensive network of people beyond the NYPD and feds that can be mobilized to find Emma. It was this group that was able to obtain CCTV footage of Emma and find her on an island in the East River. This does not seem like your run-of-the-mill keyboard detectives William was implying. Near the end of the episode, it's revealed that that William knew about Apollo and Brian long ago, hearing the story of Brian's birth on the A train. He became obsessed with Apollo because Apollo had that perfect life that he never had. According to him, his wife Greta listened to Cal, and it's heavily implied killed one of their daughters and ran off. Now William wants Apollo to talk to Greta and explain to her that William forgives her and wants to be a family again. Cal said that Greta will be brought to the island for when they kill William, so maybe there's something Apollo can say to get them out of this situation. Cal talks about Apollo first having to, quote, eat his humble pie, which implies that he will need to understand how not as important or special he is, but its meaning here is purposely vague. According to William, if he doesn't eat his pie, everyone on the island will die. Could it mean if he doesn't get out of here, something bad will happen to the island? Maybe this is connected to William's phone, which the guards say they found William waving it toward the shore with the light on. William must be communicating with someone else. Remember, he did say he has lots of connections and resources. Or the everyone will die statement can be interpreted in a meta way, that by eating this so-called pie, it ends Apollo's story. Thus the characters and everyone in it metaphorically dies because the story is over. The narrator at the beginning of the episode states that, quote, each tale told upon the water informs the next story and the next. Although briefly mentioned is Apollo talking to Emma's sister about her third wish, something we have yet to uncover. While we may never find out what this third wish really is, some have argued that it was for a life of adventure or to become a witch/sorceress, the most compelling argument comes from this brief line of dialogue from the old washerwoman herself. It was Teflon TV that pointed this out. Check out his channel, he does videos on the Changeling too. 3 wishes for your life, essentially stating that in exchange for 3 wishes, the old woman will literally take Emma's life by swapping bodies. So when Apollo broke the string, it began the process of this body swap. This would also explain why Emma's friend said Emma looked like a sorceress when she saw that naked photo of her. There is something really off with this island. William says he went up and down this river several times and never found it, so it seems like there's something about Apollo that allows him access here. As the narrator says,
there are portals in this world that we may never know we've trespassed through.
Maybe they passed through some sort of portal. William guesses from the abandoned hospital beds this is North Brothers Island, where Typhoid Mary was kept for several years and today sits abandoned as a refuge for waterfowl. The island is inhabited by a group of women William and Apollo called the Wise Ones, yet none of the women ever refer to themselves as such. We see a bunch of toys everywhere suggesting children are near, yet we never see any kids. This group is led by Cal, allegedly the same woman Emma had helped her in the plot to kill her child. Cal is short for Callisto, and in Greek mythology, Callisto is a follower of Artemis, the twin sister of Apollo. In my last video, I suggested Cal could also be short for Calliope, Apollo's mother, which I think could still be a possibility. In a show as crazy as this, there may be multiple Cals, but seeing as this Cal is also connected to mythology, these names are no coincidence. Callisto is interested in what it takes to protect our children, using the story of Rapunzel as a metaphor, stating no matter what we do, the world always seems to find a way to force its way in. Check out this red string she attaches onto the back of the sorceress puppet before it speaks to Apollo. I'm assuming this is not Apollo's string since these two haven't yet met. There's also talk of the Scottish term glamour, essentially a magic spell used to make one thing look like another, suggesting that Brian wasn't a baby at all. Remember that Emma called it a devil and not her son, but if Brian was an illusion, then who created it? Unfortunately, Callisto and Apollo are interrupted before this is answered. In mythology, fairies are known to utilize illusions, such as paying someone in gold only for it to turn into leaves later on. Could this be some sort of fairy magic? And now for a few miscellaneous things I noticed that I couldn't quite fit into the main video. The name of William's rental boat is Child's Play, named after the Killer Doll movie and the fact both of their children have been killed. William's boat rental app is called Rockabye, named after the famous child's lullaby, Rockabye Baby. More missing persons posters scattered around the city, and I also love the added touch of Apollo having to walk past children gleefully playing on a playground. I'm sure I missed a lot, but now I turn it over to you. What did you think of episode 4 of The Changeling? I want to hear your thoughts and theories in the comments below. Thanks for watching, please be sure to like and subscribe, and for more bad takes you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ThinkStoryYT. Until next time, remember,
Well, at least I got my glasses back.